Guys, we're gonna make some epic chocolate babka now. It's going to be chocolatey, nice and gooey inside, but also soft and pillowy. It's gonna be the perfect afternoon tea treat, or of course for a breakfast, or whenever you feel like a treat. So let's dive right into it. Babka is still something I remember from home and from when I was a child. I used to make something very similar to that, and we call it a Striezel. Whoever is German and follows me knows exactly what I'm talking about. You can make it with chocolate or with nuts or with nougat, whatever you felt like. And it was just so tasty because we had it every single Sunday. I mean, it feels like we had a lot every single Sunday, but we totally did. We were such a sweet family, full of stuff that you always have every single Sunday. So I start by pouring in some whole milk, and it's because it's an enriched dough, it's a sweet yeasted dough. We're going to have to warm up our yeast a little bit. What we always do is popping it in together with our liquid, and this time it's milk. And I'm also going to add in the sugar. We have a fair bit of sugar in this recipe, and you can also, instead of using caster sugar, you could also use some brown sugar. It will just create a slightly different textured dough, totally up to you. And I warm this up a little bit now so that our yeast gets a nice ambient temperature and can rise really well. Next, I'm going to add in all other ingredients, and that's really simple. I'm going to start with my butter. I've actually kept it out at room temperature for a little while, just because it does need to be ever so slightly soft. If you don't have the chance to do that, chuck it in the last minute with your milk while it's warming up. That really helps as well. And then I'm going to add in my eggs. I use large eggs, just crack them right in. I know it's a lot of eggs, but it really does give you that extra soft, pillowy texture that you really need to catch all of that chocolatey goodness that's going into the chocolate babka. And then we're gonna add in the flour. And I've gone for plain flour. We're not going strong white bread flour. You wanna go for plain flour. It's really important not to go for anything too strong right now because you want it to be soft. It's more like a cinnamon bun than an actual bread. So that's really, really good. And then we're just gonna add a pinch of salt. A pinch of salt is very important for any bread, anything you make really. It enhances all flavors. And then we're gonna pop it on to knead, and then we're gonna leave it to rise for a good 1 to 2 hours until it's doubled in size. And in the meantime, I'm gonna show you how to make the filling. That's what it looks like. So good night dough, see you later. While our dough is proving nicely now, I'm going to make the filling, because the filling needs to cool down for a little while, just to sort of be slightly warm when we're spreading it and not too hot, because that just doesn't work at all. So I've got some dark chocolate, minimum 70%, really important, because we want something that's deep in flavor and really chocolatey. So I just pop that right in. I'm just going to make a loud noise for a second. We're going to chop it up. Next, I'm going to add in some butter, and more butter, of course more butter. I mean, you're going to go for something really sweet and really indulgent, so you're going to need some more butter and some more sugar, of course, why not? So we're going to pop it all together and then melt it for a few minutes, just because we want it to really emulsify. It's okay to have some grains of sugar left because it will bake again in the oven, but we just want it to nicely melt together now. Let's melt it, and look at that, chocolatey, gooey, nice filling. This is gonna be so tasty, you have no idea. I mean, you're gonna have to make it because it's just so good. I'm just gonna add in a little bit of cinnamon, and that does really help in getting more depth of flavor into your chocolate, believe it or not. And then cocoa powder. I always opt for a dark processed, Dutch processed cocoa powder, because somehow it's just better quality. There are things like completely insane things like black cocoa powder and stuff like that, but you don't need to go for that. You just need to go for a nice deep color cocoa powder, because that gives you the right flavor, but also it gives you the right color for your babka to go really nice and dark and rich and intense. So we're just going to mix it together, and then it's done. I'm going to dust my surface with some flour. It's going to look really pretty. And don't use too much flour. We don't want to go all overboard on flour. We just want to gently dust it, because we want to make sure that our dough doesn't stick, and it is a bit of a sticky business. Now, we're going to pop our dough onto our surface, upside down. If you still have it in your mixing bowl, just take it out like this. If you have it in a normal proving bowl, then you can just take it out of the proving bowl. drop it down and let it come down naturally, nicely. Oh, look at that. That is some proper, well-risen dough. That looks really nice. And just take the rest out with your hands because you haven't got a knife in there, no blade. So you can just take it out as it is. Now just give the top a light dusting and also give it a light dusting underneath to make sure nothing sticks to your surface. If it does slightly stick, take a self-dough scraper, unscrape it, and then move it around. It should always be movable, okay? Then we're gonna pat it down slightly, creating a rough rectangle, okay? It should be nice and even everywhere. And it should be fairly easy to do that because it's such a soft, pliable dough. It actually shouldn't be hard to make this pliable, nice and rectangular shape, all equal thickness everywhere. Now, next we're gonna take our rolling pin and then I'm gonna just give it a gentle roll. Back and forth and to the sides and just ensure it doesn't stick anywhere. Again, just keep moving it underneath, really, really important. Just keep moving it until you have a nice rectangle. That's about 1/2 centimeter in thickness and nice and even everywhere. Doesn't stick anywhere. And then we can put our nice filling on top. Okay, and you essentially spread it on top and you see it's set a little bit and that's fine. You just take a scraper, sort of give it a quick whiz and just pop it on the middle of your dough. It's gonna look really nice and chocolatey. And we're just gonna spread it everywhere. See, just take your spatula and keep spreading it until it's nicely spread everywhere. And then you're just gonna take some toasted pecan nuts and just scrunch them up lightly in your hand and then pop them all over here. You can take any nuts you like. I find pecan nuts go really well with it, but anything you like really. Just pop them right on top. Nice stuff. And then we're ready to roll, literally roll. So let's do it. To roll it up, all you need to do is start on the end that's closest to you and sort of tuck in the flaps to create a nice tight sausage. I always pull it back and then tuck it in and then roll, okay? So you always kind of pull before you roll, and that's really important because you want to create a bit of tension. So just keep rolling and pulling and rolling and pulling until you have a nice long sausage that's nice and even. You might have to pull out your dough a little bit so that you can get a nice even bit everywhere, but that's absolutely fine. Just keep rolling and pulling and rolling and pulling. And don't be afraid if there's a little bit that's not quite the same thickness, because in the end it'll all be cut up anyway. You'll see. It's quite forgiving, this. For the last bit, this is the bit that's possibly tricky. People call it tricky. It's not that bad, don't worry. You're just gonna have to take your knife and cut right through the middle to open it up, and do this in bits, okay? Don't do it all in one go, and make sure to catch each half as you cut it so that you don't run into any problems. And now that you've got 2 strands, you're gonna move them nice and close together, and we're essentially just gonna fold them on top of each other the whole time. So tie up the top a little bit like that. And then you're just going to keep moving the 2 side by side. Okay, so you just keep going like that. A bit like this, and always have the top edge exposed, okay? It looks much better that way. And that babka will just be much prettier in the end. And just keep going. It's a bit like that. And you just keep going until you're done. Tuck in the end, like that. Push it nicely together, like so, and then you should have your babka done. Now all that's left to do is pop it into your prepared tin, and I'm just gonna make it a little bit wider, mine, because I've got quite a long one. You could make yours a bit thicker, and then you end up with a shorter babka. It's kind of totally up to you how you do it, and then you just lift it off, quickly pop it in, make sure it's nicely tucked in everywhere, and then you can just push your if you have an adjustable loaf pan, they're really useful because you can actually just push things in nicely. And then you just push it in. Now you're gonna leave this to rise for a good 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on what temperature you've got in your house, until it's doubled in size again. Make sure you cover it nicely with either a damp towel or a shower cap, whatever you've got handy, and just leave it to rise nicely. And then I'm gonna show you how it's baked. It is now time for our babka to go into the oven, and I'm really excited because this smells delicious already. I could actually eat it as it's raw, just because it tastes probably amazing and it smells so good. So let's pop it in, and let's not get too carried away and actually bake it before we eat it. Just goes right into the oven at 200 degrees for a little while, and I'm going to turn it down. Depending on how dark it gets, it might get quite dark, so we're going to turn it down to 180 degrees after a little while. Just keep monitoring it, and then once it sounds hollow when tapped, that's when it's baked and we can take it out. Are you guys ready to roll to chocolate babka roll? Because I'm really excited because it's done. And I'm going to take them out now. This is one gigantic loaf of goodness, and it's looking amazing. This is what it should look like, and unfortunately I can't show you what the inside looks like because it'll need to rest for a good 2 hours before I can cut into it, and by that time I have to eat it. So if you guys want to know what the inside of this looks like, go make it yourself. And subscribe to this channel for more amazing recipes. So I'm going to demolish that later.